And I stayed almost 10 years at that company, and I left as a head of people, senior vice president, and a member of the executive team. And it was just like a really cool journey in showing up, doing a great job, having people around you that see the value and just kind of open doors and ask you to take on more, and so on and so forth. And so just left in a really different point. Something happened to me in that era. And this is many years ago when that 10-year kind of stint was. But the thing that happened to me, I had some life stuff happen, and I will demystify it because sometimes when I'm listening to these things, I'm like, what was the life stuff? I had already at home 2 children. They were under the age of, I don't know, 2, under 4. I don't know how old they were, 3. I don't know. They were tiny. And I was a working mom wearing my suit, jockeying my senior vice president job. And I got pregnant again. I was having my number 3. We were doing an acquisition. I was like boss ladying it, like nobody's business, momming it, and I ended up, our daughter was born, and very shortly thereafter, we found out she was going to have real challenges. And that just completely changed my life. She ended up passing away when she was 9 months old. And the experience of like having your whole earth change its axis profoundly changed my life and changed my career and changed who I am on a really deep level. And so I share that because it was a turning point for me, from going from like, I don't care about this. Like, I'm just doing this and I'm good at it, but it's like not me. The me in the weekends and the me on the trips is like the real me. My daughter Cora like actually shedded all those walls and made me an integrated version of myself that I am today. And I don't know how she did that, but there was a lot to it, and that can be more for another podcast. But I ultimately had a moment of clarity where I saw that for whatever reason, I was in a position of influence. I was in a position of being able to meet with many people and lead hundreds of people and do these things. And so I could either join the Peace Corps or like go to nursing school or do something that felt more meaningful, or I could understand that perhaps I had been placed in these positions where I do have the ability to impact a lot of people. I could lead from that seat. I could be who I really was, and I could be a model for others to be who they really were. And that was a great pivotal and over a period of time experience in my career. So I share about this one time where I was working with an executive coach, very tangled up in myself, kind of in grief and in trying to do it all. And she was the one who said to me, like, hey, instead of being so stuck, and I understand why you're obviously any parent, right? It's hard to even find the words to describe what that's like. But she said, I see you there. Instead of lamenting, like, that Cora is no longer here, why don't you spend the rest of your life trying to be as much like her as you possibly can? And so that all really was that. If there was a moment, that was the moment that someone caused me to reflect on, like, what seat are you in? What skills do you have? What's in your heart? How can you shine that where you are versus like wait for a later moment to do what you were here to do? So that has stayed with me and transformed the way that I show up as leader. I left that role and got the opportunity to join the team over at GoPro. That's just a tremendous company. Like, I'll always love my GoPro experience. I kind of like carry it around with me as one of those that we were talking before the show about. I'm assembling like a metaphorical photo album of just really special things that have happened in my life. And a lot of them were there. I worked with some amazing people, some leaders who showed me what the people function is about and how to be authentic and how to care for people through programs and structures. I had an amazing mentor, Jeff Ryan, who I think introduced me to being on this podcast. And Jeff, actually, when he hired me, I said, like, I don't know. I led people, but I was also a senior vice president. I was also doing business strategy, and I was also doing all these things. I don't know if I want to join a people team. Like, nobody wants like the people team in the room. Like, nobody, like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't want to be like the accessory HR lady. I don't associate with that at all. And Jeff was like, whoa. Hey, why don't like you just do you over here on my team. I'll call it the people team. You can do, whatever. And let's just like meet back in 6 months and see how it's going. But I always appreciated that because Jeff was a leader, as some of my other mentors have been, that are like, stop like being resentful at the playbook and just like start refining by doing.